Good morning, and welcome to another broadcast of the North Orange County Chamber of Commerce. We are all working in new environments these days. Employees are working from home. We are in hybrid situations when sometimes they're at the office and sometimes they're not, and others are working fully in their work environments. Today, we are really fortunate to have experts to talk to you about the challenges of employees working from home, what you need to do, and particularly focusing on some of the risks and managing those risks for our employees. So please use the Q&A to ask questions, and we are ready to go ahead. And Mustafa, will you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about some of the challenges that employees are having these days? Welcome.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mustafa Miskinyar. I'm a CompWest loss control representative, and I'm really happy to be here to share some information regarding at-home work, hybrid work, telecommuting, and all the challenges. And today I wanted to talk about some pros and cons about different devices that you could use, specifically at home. So those are kind of things that we're going to discuss so we can make sure that we all are aware of what can be beneficial for your employees and what's kind of be detrimental, how to reduce injuries, cumulative trauma type of injuries, repetitive motion type of things that we're talking about. Also going to talk about some different things, kind of out of the box solutions, low cost solutions. I know that being a ergonomist before in the past, one person gets one shiny toy and the rest of the office wants that shiny toy, and it's not necessarily helpful for anybody. It drives up costs. So what we're focusing on today is just kind of low cost, minimal type of things that will help, with those challenges of working on your couch, sitting on your table, possibly if you're traveling and you're out there in a hotel room. We want to eliminate those types of stresses physically and mentally. And we're going to kind of go over things of that nature today. And then lastly, I'll just end with some quick fun things to do. Some feng shui is going to be talked about today. And like I said, low cost, inexpensive things to make you feel good at home. Some work and life balances. We want to discuss things about that. And it's something that I want all of our employers to kind of grasp, take that information and, discuss that with your teammates, your employees, and hopefully that'll help them out in the near future. And then one day we're all going to get back to the office too. So today's agenda is going to be different topics. So we're going to go over some pre-COVID
and Mustafa, as you get going, I really want to thank not only you for being here, but the sponsor of today's program, Michael Williams and WMW Insurance Services. It's great to have you on board and really appreciate the support that they've been able to provide us. So thank you to WMW Insurance. Go ahead.
All right. Well, today's agenda is right here on the screen. If you guys can all see me, I'm hoping we're good to go. If there's any sort of issues, please use the chat box and the Q&A box, and we can have some questions later down the line. My name is Mustafa Miskinyar. Like I said, I'm a loss control representative. I was just recently promoted to a senior level, but I've been with CompWest now 15 years. I started as a claim examiner way back in '98 and out of college, and pretty much done workman's compensation my entire life, sadly. So I've been a claim examiner. I was an underwriter. I helped with the Keep at Work, return to work program we had at CompWest. And the last 4 or 5 years, I've been dabbling in safety and making my way through the ranks and really enjoying the situation. And hopefully I'll be able to go out there in the field again. But right now we're stuck at home. We're working in remote areas. So we want to discuss the pros and cons of different types of things that we can use. Today's agenda, we're going to do a quick ergo break. I know I'm not going to see everybody, but I hope you guys all do some ergonomics. We'll talk about some definitions and our goals, different types of workstation guides pre-COVID, and then now during COVID, and we'll talk about some post-COVID kind of solutions for hybrid models. And then, like I said, we want to talk about a little different rituals that we'll have, and then we'll have one last ergo break, and we'll do a Q&A if needed. So if everybody could just kind of join me, you have two options. We can do a finger and wrist flexor stretch, or we can do a hamstring stretch. I like to do the hamstring, and I'm not wearing sweatpants today, so I will do that one. And it's about, and this is something I recommend every employer should tell their employees, whether it's a pre shift and post lunch. These are the different types of stretches you definitely want to do. Whether you're in the field, you're in a factory, you're in an office setting, these short little ergonomic breaks are going to be really beneficial to for the longevity of your employees' backs, necks, every body part you can think of. Here's another one that we can do. This is a really good one for office work because our wrists are pretty much going to be connected to our fingers. And if we don't have good wrists, we're not going to be able to type away and type away. So we're just going to do some stretches. And you can see, you just put your arms down, put your things like that, and then just push down on that right there. As far as your hips goes, quick little standing up and just a stretch back. And that's it. All right. Thanks for stretching, everybody, and hope you all feel better. I have one employer that actually does this every morning, and they put on different funny songs on, and they play that song for about a minute to 2 minutes, and the entire factory is doing stretches. Once the second that song is done, they're off to go and work starts. They do the same song when it comes after lunch, and they've actually had really good numbers. So think about that in the near future. Ergonomics. What is ergonomics? Work, nomis law. It's pretty much the law and the work of study of work. So the goal of ergonomics is a simple fit. It's just basically fitting the job to the person, whether it's a manufacturing position, an office position, a desk position, out in the field position, driving, whatever it may be. You have to fit the job to the person, and you want to make sure that you have proper ergonomic setups in many different ways. First off, I want to talk about your basic ergonomic. Pre-COVID, we all had desks, we had cubies, and we all had our work surfaces, our monitors, and footrests and things of that nature. Basically, the key of ergonomics is to have a nice 90-degree angle right here on your elbows, a nice straight non-pressure point for your wrists. You're looking about the top of the screen, and you should be looking good. Your feet should be flat on the floor and not dangling, and you don't want any pressure in the back of your thighs, and you want your thighs parallel with the chair. Chair is going to be their next biggest thing. On an office setting, we all have nice, good chairs that we're using. I see Michael has a nice chair in his office, and I have a pretty good one too. But again, we're going to eventually have to go back to the office, and we'll be using those nice chairs. Two main things about a chair is going to be, well, to me, it's the one thing. If it's not adjustable, it's not an ergonomic chair. So we want to make sure that all of our chairs that we have in the office setting or in a house setting are also going to be adjustable, because you have to fit the person for the job. And like I discussed earlier, we're going to talk about having your thighs parallel to the floor, your feet flat. You don't want to cut in the back of your legs, and you want to have a good support for your back. If your chair doesn't get those things, you make sure you use the knobs. A lot of people are not trained or not aware that they could actually adjust their chairs. So that's something that we want to talk about with your employees out there, and whether it's in a office setting or in a remote setting. As I discussed earlier, this is really key. I've been to places where people are looking down at their monitor, or they're looking up. You put that extra pressure on the back of your neck, you're asking for an injury, basically. So you want your eyes pretty much at the top of your monitors. So if you all look right now, if you're looking at your monitor screens, and if you look at the top of your screen, you want to make sure you're looking right at the top of the screen. You're not in the middle of the screen, and you're definitely not looking at the bottom of the screen. If you are not, definitely do an adjustment right away. Your elbows, you definitely want them at a 90-degree angle, and you want to have enough room in your desk to actually have space, such as your monitor. Right now I have an iPad, I have my phone, I have a cell phone over here, I got my coffee cup, of course. So we want to make sure you have enough room, and you want to make sure that your keyboard and your mouse have proper rests. You don't want any pressure points right here in your pineal glands, because when you get the pressure here, that's how you get your carpal tunnel, because the blood's not flowing through. Next, we're going to talk about some home office and remote remedies, basically without a traditional desk. This is something that you'll be using if you don't have your traditional desk, you don't have a traditional chair. If you're traveling, you're out in the field, you're in a hotel room, or like, majority of us, we're working from home now. First solution is very inexpensive. It's just a quick fixed height laptop desk. Most of us don't have full-on PCs working from home. Some are lucky to have that, but those that don't, you're basically working off a laptop, right? First, first option is just a quick laptop desk. It's simple. It's got a little spot for your mouse, and you place your keyboard right on there, and you pretty much sit on your couch and work away. I was lucky enough to have my sister company, United Heartland, help me share this information. And this gentleman is one of our senior loss control representatives out in the Midwest, and he specializes in ergonomics. So I was lucky enough to have a quick session with him. He gave me a lot of knowledge, and I'm going to share some of his notes. In this situation, his elbows at a good angle right here. We definitely would like some sort of support in his back, because if he's more hunched over, his elbow's going to lose that angle, and we don't have any pressure points really on his wrist right there. Now, there's some cons to this too. Obviously, it's lightweight. You can transport it, pop it in your backpack. It gives you a little room for your mouse, and it's more stable than on your lap. The cons over time, that pressure on your legs is going to get uncomfortable. Your monitor is pretty low, so your neck is going to still be at a bad angle, and it's going to promote awkward neck and upper body posture. So those are some cons. Secondly, as you can see here, he's looking down. His pressure points right there. When you're at every angle that you take more looking down, there's a ton of pressure on your neck, causing issues. His elbows are straight here, but in this case, you want to use the ear, the elbow to match with your hip. So if you see one of your employees out there working away on a laptop, you just want to look for their ears and their elbows to match with their hips, and that's at a good posture. Again, this is not ideal. This is for short periods of time. We don't want your employees working 8-hour shifts in this kind of scenario. Other different things. We have a lap desk. It's height adjustable. They work for sitting or standing, and we'll kind of talk about those different ones. This model right here is a Saji adjustable laptop stand. I believe it's about $35 to $50. What's good about this? It keeps everything on your lap. It's quite large to put your laptop and a mouse on there, and it's adjustable. So those are some good things about that one. Enough. It also tilts, so you can get your actual angle of your wrist at a proper position. And again, you can use it in a sitting or standing position. Here it is in a standing position. It folds up pretty nice and neat, and I like that part of it. The thing I really like about this product is the fact that it has these little rubber things right here for your elbows and your wrists to be touching on it, so it doesn't give you that pressure point. It also allows the keyboard not to slide down, and it's got a neat little, it's not large or anything big, but it's better than nothing, and it does allow that pressure point to be minimized with a little bit of a cushion on there. As you can see, it works in a standing position as well. Again, one of the things about this, it can only get adjusted so high, so he still has his neck at a downward angle, but those are the cons basically. So pros: it's lightweight, it's easy to carry. You can take it from one room to another, from a hotel room. It compacts, it folds pretty nice. It doesn't wobble, which is a good thing. And the adjustments are quickly made. It has a pretty much a generous surface area where you can add things. And I really enjoy the soft slides and the wrist supports. The cons, like I said, the lowest height is still a bit high for laptop work, but you can compensate that with a tilt. Another adjustable stand is this type right here, Armor Time. This one's about actually $60 to $50. What's good about this one, you can fits nice and snug on your lap. You can keep a nice posture. As you can see, his ears are with his elbows right to his hip. So this is a great posture. You can work a little longer periods of time in this kind of a position. So something employers could think about when their employees ask about different options for home remedy work. Does fold up pretty high, and so it's better for working in a standing position as well. And it folds pretty nice and neat in a good position. One thing I don't like about this one, it's really hard to adjust. The buttons, it makes it sound easy that they'll adjust, but it's it's pretty much a two-hand control where you slightly press those buttons and get them in a downward position or upward position. So that's the one big thing that I'm not really favorable about. As you can see in this position, his neck is in a nice position. His elbows are straight at 90 degrees, and his wrists are not touching any sort of surfaces with no pressure points. That's a great thing. But sometimes you're going to get in this position, and those positions you want to definitely avoid. So we want to keep them in a nice angle like this versus a tilted neck like that. But this is going to happen. We just have to remind our employees, not to get in those kind of positions, and just practice makes perfect. Again, pros on this one, it's lightweight. You can move it around, folds up pretty darn flat. It's adjustable, allows room for your lap when you're sitting, and it's high enough when you are in a standing position as well. It also allows room for a mouse when you have a smaller laptop. Again, it's really difficult to adjust in my opinion, and it bounces when you type. So those are some cons that you want to consider as well. When you're in a standing position, one thing you want to look into is anti-fatigue mats. Most people think it's just something to just cushion on your feet, but in fact, an anti-fatigue mat is mainly used to help you shift your weight. It helps you balance from one side to another. You're constantly moving slowly and you're shifting your weight. When you're shifting your weight, your muscles are contracting, your blood's flowing well, and you're not going to have any issues. Now, I don't recommend standing for 4 hour periods while you're working. You start with 10 minutes, and if you want to go up to 20 minutes per hour of standing, I recommend that. It helps with ergonomics, it helps with your body mechanics, and those are kind of things that I would recommend in a dedicated standing desk position. Different types of desk. We have one that I really like, and this model is right here. It's quite large, but as you can see, it won't be used. Can't be used in a sitting position. So it's going to be a standing only kind of situation. Again, his neck is still nice posture, elbows are straight, wrists are not really touching anything, and the computer is still at a good angle. Now, if he wants to even get that at a better way, you can get one of these laptop risers, and now he can be in a perfect position with no really issues, and you can work away in that kind of a situation. And it's rather large, so you can fit a lot of things. As you can see with the stand up, you can get a full-time keyboard, you can get a mouse, and you can even actually add a gel rest right there to help support your wrists and reduce those types of pressure points. And another good thing, it really folds up nice and easily. It's a quick one button process, slides right down, and it's kind of like your mini Vera desks that you have for sitting and standing positions. So it's easily adjustable. I think it's the best out of the three that we discussed so far. It gives you a really good generous surface area. You can add, like I said, a laptop riser, an external keyboard, even a gel mouse if you needed to. It When collapsed, it's quite thick, so it's pretty large. So it's maybe harder to transport from one location to another. You definitely can't use it in a couch, chair, in a bed setting. It's a standing only situation, and it is quite heavy. So again, hard to transport. How about the typical thing that we're seeing lately of all? Working on your kitchen table or your countertops. I don't know how many Zoom meetings I've had where somebody's just sitting on your couch or they're in a countertop or on a kitchen table. There are going to be issues from that, and so here's some quick remedies. Normally, you'll see folks do this kind of situation. You'll see the pressure point, and that's not a good thing right there. So what people normally want to do, they'll slouch up. Now that he still has pressure on his forearms, and now his back is completely off tilt, and his neck is at a bad angle as well, causing issues for your upper back and your neck. So we want to avoid things like that. What do you do in a situation like that? You got a hard, kitchen table, you got a hard kitchen chair. We have a quick solution. Add a quick foam on there. They're very inexpensive. You throw that foam onto the chair. It's about 3 to 4 inches wide. Once you sit on it, you get yourself still another 1 to 2 inches. And as you can see, now his elbows are better positions. His wrists are still touching right there, but his wrists are more straight. He is kind of touching the top of the table with his thighs, but right there is a really good situation. Now, if you want to spend a little more dollars for your employees, or if your employee wants to get something better, there's always a quick solution by a simple chair. This chair right here is an office chart chair. It's kind of your run-of-the-mill chair. They usually start around $100, and you can get a footrest. You can use any Arima paper or anything you can put for the bottom of your feet. What's good about these chocolate chairs, you don't need to buy that cushion. It's obviously got enough for it right there. So you have that cushion underneath your legs, and then when you put yourself in a situation, you're at a better angle right there. Your wrist is less pressure points. Your feet are flat on the floor on the actual floor step stool, and you're good to go. Again, there may be an issue with your thighs rubbing on that, but you can adjust the chair to see fit, and then you're at a better posture. So, the run-of-the-mill chairs can start from here. You can go up, and chairs range, as you all know, from different prices. $100 to $150 is your average range, and then you can go from $500 to $1,000 and even more up. I don't recommend those for home remedies. Obviously, it's going to be an expensive thing, and today's topic is kind of simple, easy, low cost remedies to help your employees stay in a good position and not have any body issues and have good body mechanics. So now that COVID looks like the light is at the end of the tunnel. Some of us are still working from home, but eventually we're going to eventually have to get back into the office. Some companies are going to go 50-50. Some companies are going to basically have to adapt to a hybrid work model. And I just want to talk about some basic solutions for hybrid models of employment. These are again very low cost, non-equipment type of things that we're going to discuss next. And basically, experts are predicting that more than a quarter of the workforce will still stay at home, post coronavirus. So that's something you want to think about. So what kind of solutions that we are we going to have? Obviously, they've done it for almost a year. Maybe they haven't got trained on it. Maybe they're hating and they can't wait to go back to the office. But maybe the employer will say, "Hey, we're sticking to this home thing. We're going to help you guys out with some ergonomics, but there's some other things that we could do." First and foremost, you want to develop routines. Wake up at the same time like you would going to the office. Get up and take a shower. I take a shower every morning when I don't have to do it. I have my breakfast, I have my coffee, and I pretty much go through the same routine as I would if I was in a working in the office. I'll make sure to maintain separate working personal calendars. You want to set goals for each day. You want to allocate enough time to meet all your work responsibilities. Take your scheduled lunch, take your breaks, take your ergonomic breaks, step away from your work site, go outside. You're at home. Talk to your wife, talk to your husband, kids, all that good stuff. Take your dog for a pet, and then make sure to still schedule some time to talk to your colleagues. Water cooler talk is a big thing, and some of us miss that camaraderie and talking to each other and just getting the good old gossip of what's going on. So take some time, do a Zoom call with some of your coworkers, maybe do a department meeting. Things like that would be really encouraging and helpful for your employees. Obviously, you want to stay focused. We're still working. It's a business, and the objective is to make money here. So what you want to do is keep your workspace clean and organized, whether it's your home or at your office. You want to remove distractions. You don't want the TV blaring downstairs or in your room. If you're at the office, you don't want to have earbuds playing music, unless your employer is okay with that. But in most cases, and most studies show that if somebody's paying attention to something else, they're not going to pay attention to the work at hand. You want to make sure that you use your not disturb signs, whether it's on your phone, so you're not getting random calls or texts. Keep it on vibrate or mute. And you want to make sure to resist over snacking, especially at home, by going down to the kitchen over and over, or the break room if you happen to be working in an office environment. And continue to work through your distractions. You're going to have distractions, whether that's home or in the office. I think at home we're going to have a lot more distractions. So that's something that you want to communicate with your colleagues, whether it's at work or home, or especially your family. You want to just let them know that, hey, I'm here at working, and I'm here to assist you when I have my break or when we take lunch. We'll discuss things, and we'll still be a family. So be respectful and thankful. Inform your families and coworkers, hey, you need uninterrupted time. Reassure your family, your pets, whatever it may be, that you're going to spend time with them after work, during your break, or maybe at your lunch as well. And then at the end of the day, shut down your computer. Make sure it's shut down. Remember to thank your family for your support, and let them know that, hey, thank you so much for not interrupting me while I'm trying to get this busy day done. And embrace each day and remind yourself that you're working, why you're working so hard to keep, dinner on the table, and vacations eventually will be coming down the road, and we'll be traveling again. Another quick thing that most employers are not informing their employers, you want to train your employees on best practice around cybersecurity. People working from home, they don't have that IT guy that they can just call real fast or say, hey, come to my desk, I have an issue. So we want to make sure that they're aware of the spam, phishing, malware, things of that nature that could really disrupt somebody's company. If somebody's on a VPN network at home, and they get some sort of suspicious email, and they sadly fall for the bait, the entire company is going to get destroyed, or they're going to have their issues. So we want to make sure that everybody's going to be trained in these things. Right now companies are working out the kinks as they go along, but we want to be more prepared. And as this becomes, the usual model, we just want to make sure that everybody's going to get used to these kind of things, and training on cybersecurity is key. Quick additional reminders are rituals for work at home balance. Feng Shui is something that I looked into recently. I had a webinar about it, and I really learned a lot about the class. I know what Feng Shui is, and it's the science of fit and making sure everything looks flowish, and you're going good. So you just want to Just like ergonomics, it helps people align their space with optimal fit and functioning of the human body. It's kind of your inner peace. There's going to be smells, there's going to be sights, there's going to be things that you see, and it's a different way. It's cost effective. There's no really money involved in there, and it helps your employees, think outside the box and do different things that they normally wouldn't do. So as you guys can see, I'm not going to read everything verbatim, but it pretty much take care of your space, treat it like it's your space, and use the art of feng shui and ergonomics at the same time to help you flow with that. So here's some rituals that I've learned, and I actually I'm practicing right now. Create an opening and closing rituals. Set clear boundaries when your workday starts. It's not just a coffee or anything like that, and it's not the other way around where you get a wine later. So if you're working from your dining table, like we know showed. Have a unique placemat. Use a dedicated glass or coffee cup that you use, and maybe put frame pictures of your family and your friends on there, so you can feel like you're still in an office environment. When your day's done, if you want to, I actually put my office downstairs with my laptop. I put it all in a box, and I keep it away. And then that means the work way's done. My kids know that there's no daddy's off work. My pets know it. My wife knows it, and it's really helpful. Again, you want to stimulate your auditory and olfactory senses. You want to ring a bell, maybe put some aromatherapy out there, whether it's at the end of the day or the beginning of the day. And again, the whole family and you as a unit will know work is started, work is dead, and it's done. And then I normally would change out of my clothes. Again, today I wore my actual pants. I'm not wearing my sweatpants, but get in the habit of doing things like that. Quick shower before work starts. Quick shower after the work day will help you a lot with kind of just dealing with the monotony of working from home and the pressures of your boss telling you this and that, your baby crying on the side. There's just so many things that you have to do in this environment that we're all living in, and these are just real simple, quick rituals and tips to help you get through the day. And if you kind of get used to it, you'll add more things throughout the day. And again, like I said, your family will eventually know when daddy's working or mommy's working, and you'll have that quiet time, and you'll have that time to be productive and keep the company afloat while keeping your family still safe, happy, and functional. And at the end of the day, hopefully you're not going to be filing workers' comp claims, because you will be in an ergonomically set surrounding. You'll be a happy employee, and as we all know, happy employees don't file claims. One last thing I want to talk about is one more stretch. So if we can do a quick neck and shoulder stretch, you just pretty much put your hands right here, pull your neck back, put your arms out, and then just stretch out. And I can share all these sample stretches if anybody would like. I'll be more than happy to forward them to Teresa or Sarah or Michael, and you can share it with the employers, and they can trickle it down to their employees. I always recommend, if somebody's still working from home, if you send these posters, tell them hang up those posters. That's going to be a visual reminder to see those things, and then throughout the day, they'll do those stretches. People are working way longer nowadays, and so we want to make sure that we're gonna be safe and happy. Any questions? And if anybody's in mute or has any questions, wants to know about costs, please let me know.
I always have
Here,
questions.
sure.
So I think this is great with things that people can do in an inexpensive mode. And I know that some companies have sent their employees chairs, some people have sent their employees desks. And I really think people need to remember that your employees are a valued investment, and it's worth for you to make sure that you continue to invest in them. If an employer has had issues where an employee has filed a work comp claim while they're working at home because they felt they were not being in an ergonomic setting, and they've got carpal tunnel now, or they have neck problems, are there things that employees can do after the fact to help mitigate some of these things and to help ease employees, or is it just a matter of making sure that it doesn't happen again by providing support to other employees?
Oh, yeah, I think there's a lot of different things. I mean, the first and foremost thing is, if an employee, before they even file a claim, if they're communicating and open with the employer and employee, there's a good relationship between the two, and they say, you know what, my home office is just not doing so great. Obviously, CompWest, like I would go out to different locations and do ergonomic evaluations. In the day of COVID, what I do is a virtual evaluation. Everybody has one of these. It's a cell phone. They all have phones nowadays. It's a quick thing that you can do. You'll ask the employee, hey, take a picture of your ergonomic setup without you in the desk. Get in the desk, ask your wife or husband or child, take a picture of you in a different angles of you in the desk working in your normal position. An ergonomist can easily look at those things and probably pinpoint a few quick pointers to help that person alleviate any sort of issues or strains. Now, if they do file a claim, I would definitely still recommend have your carrier or whoever it may be, your medical provider, to actually do an ergonomic evaluation. Like I said, nowadays they're doing evaluations over virtually or over the phone, and you can kind of find some things that to help. And there's just really low cost things. If their feet are not flat on the floor, you don't need a $20 or $30 footrest. A couple of reams of paper will help you with that. A cardboard box, a plastic box can help you. If your monitors are not adjustable, again, the good old fashioned reams of paper will help you adjust. Get that 2 to 3 inches higher so you're looking at a right angle. Your neck's not being flexed down, and you can be able to, you know, not have as many more issues and problems. So there's a lot of things that you could do and invest with your employees. What I would first recommend is having that good lines of communications. Tell them, be honest. If you, I know it's not the best setting. I know that we all want to work back at the office, but this is what we have to deal with. Be open with me, and I'm not going to send you a $900 chair and things of that nature. But I'm going to help you to the best of my ability. A lot of employers that we've dealt with, their office chairs are sitting at home because they're at their office and no one's really using them. So if an employer is okay with having somebody go to the office and pick up their chair and have it marked and take it to their home office, that's fine. They can do that. My wife did that exactly with her chair. She was literally on a bench for almost 2 or 3 months. And, I'm the husband. I'm like, you can't do this. We're going to go buy a chair. But she said, let me just call my employer and ask him, hey, would it be okay to drop by to the office? I know it's open for some people, and just pick up my old chair from my desk. And they're wide open with that. So there's things that you can do. And those are things I recommend. And open lines of communication is probably going to be your best bet.
Yeah. That's a great suggestion. And I think as employers are beginning to look at hybrid models with having some of their employees come back to the office or having them back at the office part-time, that these things are going to be covered and really be important for the employers. One of the things I think you mentioned that's anybody can do is certainly to take these breaks. We make these videos available on our YouTube channel. So people are able to share these, to visit back to them, and to really make sure that there's an opportunity to take those breaks. I was fortunate enough that before all of this happened, I had invested in an adjustable desk that goes up and down, and I can stand for a while and sit. And I have multiple chairs in my office, so I can rotate them in and out depending upon the use. But as you said, having a place where your arms can be properly supported and you have the right angles, where you have the right angle for your computer screen, makes for a much more comfortable and more productive work environment. So I think that that's a wonderful opportunity for all of us to look at posture, to look at ergonomics, to look at feng shui, to make sure if you enjoy having flowers in your office, you bring flowers into your home environment as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask real quickly if any of our other panelists, if Mr. Williams or anybody else has any questions they would like to chime in, or comments you have to suggest, please take this opportunity. Oh, here we have a question comment on shoes that people might want to. I think people have gotten in the habit of wearing everything from socks to bedroom slippers while they're working at home. How important is the shoe that you wear particularly while you're at your home office?
That's a great question. Shoes is really important. But the thing about it's more about the feet. As long as your feet are flat on the floor, they're not dangling. That blood is not going to be just sitting there and flowing, causing you to almost have like a cramp, or when you step off something that's you're not standing for long periods of time. So it's shoes important, but as long as your feet are flat, you can wear those nice slippers. You can wear those thick extra socks to keep you well. But if you're moving about, if you're using a sit and stand option, I definitely recommend a comfortable shoe, a sneaker. You don't have to wear your fancy high heels or your fancy wingtip shoes. So if you don't have to wear them and no one's going to take a picture of you from the foot down, or your meeting is just going to be up here, that's fine. I mean, you want to be in the most comfortable position at all times throughout the day. So shoes important when you're out in the field, of course. But if you're at home and your feet are flat on the floor while you're on a work desk, or if you're on a couch, or if you're on if you're laying on a bed, you want to make that minimal. It's not going to be I don't recommend even a 2-hour shift of laying on your bed while trying to do that. It's just really bad body mechanics. But shoes are important. But at the end of the day, if your feet are flat laying on the floor, you're allowing blood to flow, and you're not going to cause any sort of issues or cramps.
Michael,
Teresa, can you
closing
hear me?
thoughts. Yes, we can. Thank you.
That's fantastic. It only took me 30 minutes to get my microphone working. So. I'm sorry, everybody, but thank you, Moose, so much for even the presentation today. Thank you, Teresa, for hosting. Sometimes these topics, they are ones that are really important to talk about. They're not always the sexiest ones, but man, do they make a big difference day in and day out. And having good partners like CompWest to assist in this sort of stuff is huge. So my only question for Moose was, you ran through a number of the good products for us to consider for employees. Do you guys ever provide that in a list form or anything like that we can check out? Because I know there was a number of them. I just want to make sure that they're readily available, easy to browse.
Yeah, well, we don't promote anybody as a vendor or anything like that. I always write in my recommendation letters. I will show links of different kind of products, but I say I'm not promoting this. I don't. I want the employer to kind of shop around. What I usually do is I give them the top of the line, and then I give them the bottom line, and they can see like what's in the middle. So different companies have different types of things. Some are just pretty and they're really not ergonomically sound, but they're thousands of dollars and they look great with the fancy chrome and the this and all that. But your basic chairs, your staple chairs, your Office Max, those kind of places, you can get a lot of good variety of different chairs. But we don't have per se an actual specific list. It just would be probably a conflict of interest, to be honest with you, as a safety provider. But I mean, if there's a question about that, I'll be more than happy to address something like that. Somebody says, hey, on the side, hey, Moose, I got X, Y, and Z. What do you recommend? And based on the number of products or number of clients that we've had in the past, I'll say, this has worked good for this type of a job, and I see that I've had issues with this type of thing. It's flimsy, it breaks down, and maybe after a year, it's only got a year-long shelf life. So we don't have an exact list, but if there's any specific questions on there, I'll be more than happy to do that. And I'll also point you in the right directions. We have tons of different vendors coming to us saying exactly that, like, hey, promote my thing, or can you talk about this? And they can talk about their different products in detail as well.
Is it worth going to test drive, we'll call it test drive chairs at one of the office supply stores so you can actually sit in them, see how your body fits? I imagine the weight, the length of your legs, and all of these things have a big impact on the chair you choose.
It's very important to test drive. I had a client out in Cambria, so obviously I couldn't get out there, and she had a really bad ergonomic setup. We did the ergonomic evaluation virtually, and then I told her about different types of chairs. She was actually 6'2", and that was her issue. She's quite a tall woman, and the chair that she was using, it just wasn't working. So I recommended a sit to stand kind of option. But at times she'd have to sit down and her chair had to go to a level. But her thighs at one point were pressed so tight that she was getting marks on the top of her thighs after a couple hours of work. So I told her to go to her local, I think it was just an Office Depot, and we talked about different options. I gave her kind of a list of different things to look at. And what she did is basically went out there, test drove them all, and said, hey, the one that you picked wasn't the actually best one. The gentleman said this was an actual different model, which I didn't even know was there. So she found the right fit by actually going out there and test driving it. Something like a chair is like your car. We don't just buy, nowadays people do buy cars online, but normally, good old fashioned days, we'll want to kick the tires, take it out for a spin. Something like a chair, you're going to be stuck on it for 8 to 12 hours a day. You might as well make sure it's a proper chair. And if you don't give it a proper test ride, you're doing just a dishonest, just disservice to yourself, in my opinion.
I have a question, Moose. What's the recommendation when you are an office worker? Should you be moving on the hour, like move your body, or what's the recommendation?
Yeah, definitely take your ergonomic breaks throughout the day, but obviously you can't take one every 15 minutes.
Right.
You definitely want to move around. You want to get up. If you there's some activities that you have to do. Let's say you have to go to the copy machine. Hey, get up, save it for, save a couple of your things. Go to the copy machine, get up, get your blood flowing, and then get back in your seated position. Do those stretches. But I definitely recommend sitting and standing throughout the day. I actually do promote the sit and stand option. It's again, for as an employer, it could be an expensive option, but
Mm.
and mostly people sometimes do it post injury. The injury occurs and now the ergonomist or the doctor says, oh, this person needs this and that, and usually a sit to stand option would be a good choice. So if you want to provide that before an injury occurs, if you can invest in those things, you want to weigh, I'll cost, there's things that you can do. If I can get one or two $18,000 claims because of a carpal tunnel claim, I could have got the whole office, a sit to stand desk. So you think about it that way, and you'll get no claims throughout the year. Of course, there's going to be claims, but you're going to do in your best interest to promote different types of things like that. So sit to stands, standing up throughout the day is a good thing. Another thing that I didn't talk about is eye fatigue. I always recommend, it's called the 20-20 rule. So every 20 minutes, look away, if you can, something that's about 20 feet away for 20 seconds. So, and that will help with your eye fatigue. So if you're in a small room like me, I'm literally a product of working from home, and we actually adopted a baby. So my office turned to a crib. So, so I have a very small space. I actually had to, when I got this feng shui, I kind of switched everything around. I now have my window in front of me. I have some blinds on there to help with the glare. But what I do is I open my blinds. I look outside. I can obviously see 20 feet away from there, and it helps my eye fatigue. And I also wear glasses too. I'm nearsighted, so I'm not wearing them right now, but it helps us along with that things as well. I saw a question about fresh air and air conditioning. That's a great
Yes.
question. It kind of runs into what we talked about. Air conditioning eventually, it's good, it's great, keeps us cool in those hot summer days, but it can affect your throat and things in your eyes. It can cause irritations. So you definitely want to get out of the day. If it's a cool day like today, turn the air conditioning off, keep the windows open, enjoy that fresh air, let those senses feel everything too when you're in a home setting. Office setting, obviously you can't, turn off the air conditioning. So go out, take those breaks. Make sure to go outside of the actual, facility. Don't just go to the break room and snack on some stuff and go right back to your desk. Take a quick stroll. I mean, CompWest office, we're lucky. We have a giant, beautiful lake around that office. And when I used to work from the office, I would love to take walks around that lake, and I'd say 2 laps is basically a 15-minute walk. We'd take 2 laps, get back in there. I'd see ducks, I'd see fishes, I'd see, trees and things of that nature, and I'd feel fresh, and I'd go back into the work environment, kind of rejuvenated every time I did that break.
Well, I think that one of the opportunities we have in Southern California is having beautiful weather most of the year. And I think that one of the things that people have really found as an advantage from working from home is they're not in the office environment, they're in the residential neighborhoods, and taking a walk around the block is a great way to take a break midday, have a light snack for your lunch, and then take a brisk walk around the neighborhood. You get your physical exercise, and you are fresh and refreshed and ready to get back for the afternoon work.
Exactly.
Well, Michael, I want to thank you so much for making this program possible. Mustafa, thank you so much for all of your information. And we will make sure that anybody that has additional questions for follow-up is able to get in touch with you and to get in touch with Michael at WMW Insurance. If there are no additional questions right now, then we will call this a day. I wish all of you a wonderful afternoon, and please stay healthy, stay moving, and make sure that you consider your positions and how you are ergonomically correct in positioning so you can be the most productive employee possible.